Hey guys, this is Jane. I guess this is kind of part two of the from the beginning videos that I wanted to make. I just made one and it went up to 10 minutes, and I know that everybody doesn't have time to watch such long videos, so I'm going to try and keep them shorter. So basically the last video ended where I was, the day before pre-op, and then I think that was 2 days before surgery. So I can tell you a little bit about my experience with surgery. I didn't have the best experience. I expected, and my surgeon had expected me to be in the hospital for 3 days. That was not the case for me. I was actually there for 7 days. I should mention that my surgeon is one of the top 5 in the world. He really is a pioneer in weight loss surgery and techniques. Actually, at the Cleveland Clinic, he has just come up. I just heard from one of his colleagues that he has 2 new processes or new surgeries that he is researching and doing tests on now. So he's a great surgeon. It had nothing at all to do with him. It was all about me and my body and how I responded to the bypass. I did have gastric bypass. Again, that was October 22nd, 2009. The complications that I had, we didn't realize, the surgeon did not realize going in that I had hernias. So that is one problem. That's what started it. So he had to repair the hernias at the same time as doing the surgery. So he did that, and I had just a really tough time in recovery. I ended up not even going into a room for at least 24 hours. They kept me in recovery for that length of time. One issue was that the bariatric wing of the hospital was full, so they had anticipated somebody leaving and moving me into the room. Now keep in mind, Cleveland Clinic is a huge hospital, but it was very important, I guess, for my surgeon that I be on that particular floor. So they kept me in recovery for about 24 hours, and I really got behind when I was in there because they didn't get me up and walk, nothing. I was in bed, that was it. I had severe pain like I've never felt before. I have had other surgeries before. I was in a bad car accident and had several surgeries from that. I was in intensive care, but this is pain that I can't even express to you now, and I thank God that I really can't remember it. I guess it's like childbirth, how you forget. But yeah, it was the worst. I was absolutely miserable. So that put me way behind. So by the time that I finally did get into my room and get settled, you're talking 2 days out from surgery by that time, and it was really hard for them to get me up and get me moving. Then I had other problems. I had my blood count was real low, so I had to have blood transfusions. I had problems with potassium. My potassium was way too low, so I had to get that up before they would release me to come home. So I had a lot of problems while I was in there. I guess a lot of the pain comes from the hernias as well. I had a large hernia near the belly button area that he repaired, and for probably 2 months after surgery, I still had pain from that. And when I went to this, see my surgeon after surgery, it's the only thing I complained about was just the severe pain. Sitting, I had to go back to work. I actually didn't go back to work on time. I was probably 3 weeks over the month that I had anticipated, because I just couldn't sit for long periods, and that's what I do at work. So those were some side effects I had. When I came home, I had severe nausea. It took me a long time before I could eat. And I wish now that I had taken the time to do some videos then, but to be quite honest, I was too sick. I don't think I could have ever done it. It took me a long time to get back on my feet. As I go through my book, as I showed on my last YouTube video, this is my book, my journal that I've kept. From the first one that I did the day before pre-op to the next one was 18 days post-op. And that was because, honestly, I was sick. I was very sick, and I just couldn't even do anything. So on this one, I wrote, so here I am. I made it, barely. I'm 18 days post-op. This is my first journal entry. It has been very tough. I spent 7 days at the hospital, had some problems with blood transfusions, etc. I've had a tough time healing. My family has been here through the entire process. This is the first day I'm alone and on my own. It has been a long time. I'm still very sore, and I don't feel like I am getting around like I should be. I still take the pain meds. I really want to be back to normal. I hate this. I have only been out of the house twice. Once was going back to the hospital to get my drain taken out, and one other time my family took me to the mall for a very short outing, like an hour, and they pushed me around in a wheelchair. I wrote that it's been very emotional as well. I have been off all of my antidepressants as well as sleeping meds. Would I do this again? No. Ask me in another month. So that's how I was feeling 18 days after surgery. I was not in a good place. I was depressed. I was sick. I didn't feel good. I hurt all the time. I couldn't go anywhere. I lost my freedom to move on my own. So it was tough. But the good news is things only got better from there. After I got back to work, I started moving. It got better. I still had a lot of nausea. For all of you who are pre-op at this point, don't expect that you're just going to bounce back. I know a lot of people on YouTube show their videos, and 5 days after surgery they're up, they got their makeup on, their hair is done, they're getting ready to go back to work, they're going to the mall, they're going grocery shopping, they're eating. That's not the reality for everyone. I can tell you that right now. If you're going into it thinking that that's your reality, you need to understand that there's a lot of variables. You never know what's going to happen when they get in there. So just be prepared for anything that may happen afterward. Any complications you might have, be prepared that maybe you're not going to get back to work in 2 weeks. Maybe it's going to be 4 weeks. Maybe it's going to be 6 weeks or even 8 weeks. Give yourself the time to heal. Do not try and rush it. If you do, you'll be sorry, you'll be depressed, and you will be regretting what you have done. At that time, if you had, like I put in there, I would have never done it had I known at that time. Today, as I sit here today, I would absolutely do it all over again. Absolutely, without hesitation. I would absolutely do it over. So, if there's anything you take away from this video, and I know it's boring for other people, I know it's probably boring for even newbies, pre-op folks. I know everybody wants to see the heavy person, going into the thinner person, or I know everybody wants to see the person before surgery and then during surgery and the day after surgery. So it might be boring, but if you take anything away from this video, just understand that a lot of things can happen. It's all out of your control. And just be prepared for anything. And I see that that's my 10 minutes again. And I did not want to do that. Sorry.